and gentlemen, welcome to Talks with Todd.
Yeah, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Talks with Todd. I'm your host, Wit Todd. Feels good to be back, man. I had a very rough week last week. That's why I didn't come in. I was pretty sick. Still not at 100, but I'm definitely getting better. Definitely can speak more clearer. I don't sound all groggy, but yeah, I've had a very interesting couple of weeks, man. But I'm gonna talk about that other stuff a little later. And listen, today is great. It's just me. It's just us today, I should say. And shout out to my engineer, Telly. What's up? You good? That's what's up. So yeah, listen. Today's topic, man, I let the people vote. You know, season 4 is unfortunately, but fortunately coming to a close. And I say that because each season is something different. So next season, you're going to see something totally different. This season was about marriage, and I'm going to move on from marriage. You know what I'm saying? And once I interview a few more people, especially, you know, getting some couples in here, because I talked about marriage and didn't have couples yet. Once I get those couples in here, oh yeah, we coming to a close, but I wanted to have some fun. I wanted to let people vote. I put out some topics for people to vote on, and the people voted. Everybody said they wanted to speak what they wanted to speak on or wanted me to speak on. And yeah, I'm about to roll with it. And y'all could call in. You know, I'm gonna chop it up with you. We can go back and forth or whatever the case may be. It's gonna be a great show. And I just wanted to let y'all know that, man, I definitely appreciate each and every last one of y'all that's been tapping in with me since day one. It matters. It definitely matters, man, because, you know, you got a lot of people that'll support you in silence but won't support you in public. And I appreciate the people that support me in public because I don't hear the silent supporters. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why I always say thank you. And I appreciate, you know, people like Rhea from Raw But Real, you know what I'm saying? G Baby, people that shout me out for real, and tell me how great they think my show is or whatever the case may be. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But we about to get into the topic, man. The topic for today, when keeping it real goes wrong in marriage. Now, I don't know about a lot of you when it comes down to honesty in a marriage, but you would think that if you're being honest, that it can go wrong. It will go smoothly. That's what I used to think. I used to think, you know what? I told you the truth. You'll be all right. Shut up. It's better than me lying to you. Sometimes it don't always go that way, my guys. It doesn't. And for the ladies as well, it doesn't always work. Everybody can't handle the truth. You know, I have a saying that I always use: the truth only hurts people that are in denial. I say it all the time. But honestly, the truth be hurting a lot of people, even if they're not in denial, because they probably didn't even know that was the truth about them. So just to give you an example, in my last marriage, when it was ending, and I want to specify when it was ending that I said this to this woman. Going into the ending of that marriage, I remember us having a back and forth with each other, not really arguing, just talking about what's been going wrong and whatever the case may be. And she straight up told me, like, I don't trust you no more. And I said, I'm no longer in love with you. I didn't know how much of a gut punch that was going to be for her, right? And at the time, I didn't care because I was already at my wit's end due to that marriage, and you know how much turbulence I had to face in that marriage. And little did I know that I was already showing those actions. I didn't know that I was already headed down that road with how I was moving. I didn't realize that. I wasn't paying attention because, again, I didn't care. Once I get to a point where I don't care, I'm not paying attention to nothing else anyway. I know me. I have a very nonchalant attitude when I'm done with somebody or a situation. So when she said that to me, I was like, dang, have I been acting different? What I've been doing different that led up to me saying this, where she kind of figured it out. But also, that was kind of me adding fuel to the fire too. Because once I did that, that's when I saw full on crazy in that woman. You know, I'm asleep. She coming in the room while I'm asleep, watching me sleep. I ain't never witnessed nothing like that before. And then on top of that, it's not like she was standing up just staring at me with her arms folded, like she was plotting to kill me. And I'm telling you, it was very weird. But I saw how the truth can really come back on you in that situation. You know, pulling up to my job, talking about something, I want a hug. What? I'm good on you. What are you talking about you want a hug for now? I'm done. But I didn't know that my actions was showing that already. So then hearing those words followed by my action activated all the crazy in the world. So that's a way that, you know, it could backfire on you. Sometimes while you're in the active marriage, it could backfire on you as well, because, you know, you could tell your woman or your husband about themselves. And if your approach, if that delivery is off, yeah, it's going to get taken another way. It's going to get taken a whole nother way, because now it's like you're going to get looked at it like it's going to get looked at like it was with ill intent. Now you're telling me this only because you're mad. And that's another thing I want to talk to y'all about too. If you don't like something and you know that you ain't going to be able to live with, you know, what you dislike, speak on it before you get angry. For the love of God, do that. Because I'm telling y'all, when you speak on something and you're angry, it's going to sound bold. You tell somebody on a good day that you're not feeling how they moving, totally different. That's a totally different vibe. Totally different vibe. So stop speaking on stuff just because you're angry. Because they're going to have to hear the truth regardless. No matter how you slice it, they got to hear the truth. They got to know that this is not a good look for y'all future. Okay? And another thing too. Now here's the caveat to what I just said. Sometimes when you tell the truth out of anger, people tend to hear you a little louder. Now that will determine on the maturity of a person and whatever else they may have been through. But I've dealt with it in my own functioning marriage now. I've said things to my wife that I've said on a good day. Hey, baby, look, you're falling off with this. Get it together. Tighten up. Love you, baby. Whatever. Keep it moving. Right? That's me. That's how I handle what I dislike. Because I learned a long time ago, when you handle it mad, you're not gonna get nothing. You're not gonna get nowhere. However, I said the same thing in anger. I instantly saw my wife tighten up. I mean, it was within, I'm not gonna say it was the same day, but she was working towards getting to where I was talking about sooner than later. And I said, baby, when I brought this to your attention, when we was cool, when I was just trying to have a regular conversation with you, where was that energy to step your game up then? And she was like, I don't know. But when you said it to me in the tone that you used this particular time, it hit different. So delivery is key. Delivery is key, but you definitely got to say something, my guys. Say something, please. Because if you know it's something that, like, for instance, I hate women that smoke, right? If my current wife smoked, I would have told her from the jump, this ain't going to work. I don't like it. Because smokers, I don't know if anybody else has dealt with smokers, but from my experience, they don't have a care in the world when it comes down to how they smell or how they going to make you smell, make your car smell, and then have the nerve to try to kiss you. Yuck. Get out my face. Go gargle. I mean this. So if my wife now was to come at me smoking cigarettes, trying to kiss me, trying to hug on me, back up, get yourself together, and then we could revisit all of this. So speak on what you don't like. And please, by all means, if there is a certain way to handle a situation, right? And Telly, when you get a chance, read the comments for me, please. But yeah, it is a certain way for you to handle things. So if you know you don't like something, don't throw a fit and talk about how you don't like this or like that. And also learn your triggers, please. If you know something triggers you, you need to take a step back, take a breather, and then talk to that person about what it is that bothers you and how you don't need that to happen again. Simple fix.
Yes. So Mike said facts. Roderick Bland said 100% right. Ms. Rhea said afternoon. Richard Heath said afternoon, bro. Mike
up?
said yikes. Ms. Rhea said some people angry all the time, and honestly, if they don't agree, they are going to react how they react, and we have no control over it. And then Ms. Rhea also says some people need time to process what their mate says too.
Yes. Oh, Yes, Rhea, you absolutely right. People do need to process that. And you know how I know you're right? Because I've had to deal with this with my wife. She said some things to me before that I had to process, and she was getting upset because I wasn't getting right back with her as far as having that uncomfortable conversation. And I was like, it's not that I don't want to have a conversation. I don't never shy away from a conversation. I'm processing what you're saying. Give me a minute, baby. You got to relax, because all the stuff that you just said, I ain't heard before. So give me a minute. I'll get back to you. I promise. Because if we in this for the long haul, we're going to have plenty of these conversations, and we're not going to grow unless we keep having these types of conversations. I'm all for it, no matter how uncomfortable they are. Those are very uncomfortable conversations are very healthy to me. But if you're saying a bunch of stuff that nobody ever heard come out your mouth before, that's going to take some time to process. So yeah, Rhea, you're absolutely right. And I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of people don't get that, and they don't want to understand it. Honestly, they want to get that. They want to talk. They want to talk. They talk, say what they need to say, and then just be like, all right, now you got to hurry up and change. That is not how life works. That's not how it works. You got to give people time. Don't nobody we're not robots. So ain't nobody you just gonna say something automatically, boom, I'm a changed person. No, that's not how things work.
Got you.
So give people that time. Give people that time to make the change that they need to make. And if they don't change it, that's on them. Listen, one thing about me, no matter how many times I've been married, everybody always got a warning from me. So whether I chose to do something that's considered wrong or whatever, everybody got a warning. So if you know me, you know that I'm going to communicate no matter how I came at you or whatever. You're going to get your warning. You know, I said this, please work on it. You don't work on it. Okay. Next. That's how I normally would operate. Now, and this the beauty about the marriage that I'm in right now. Because I matured so much in this marriage, I don't necessarily take the same rules that I used in the last two marriages. I actually sit there and wait for the change. If the change don't come, cool. I try other avenues, because it's too easy for me to go out here and just get another woman. I played that game already. It's nothing. I know I can get another woman. It's not hard. Okay. I'm not even saying this to sound cocky, but I know my gift. So when men know their gift and they know who they are, it ain't nothing for them to get a woman. This is for the men that are confident. This is for the men that's walking in purpose. They know who they are. It's never hard for us to get women. My thing is, I've played that game already, so it means nothing to me. I don't have to do it. It's like it's no different riding a bike. You don't have to You don't have to get on the bike just to prove a point, do you? Because most people are in cars. Don't nobody care about riding no bike unless they just want to ride a bike for fun. So I just want people to understand that you don't have to always go back to your old ways to do anything, but you do sometimes, just sometimes, you might have to show a little bit of your old self to remind them of who you are. I will say that. And sometimes that might not be a good look, but it will wake them up and show them, oh, wait a minute, I did marry this person and I knew who he was prior to being with me. Okay, let me stop playing with him. So yeah, it's okay to do that. Just don't make it a habit, because if you make it a habit, eventually somebody gonna snap and just say forget it and go full on their old way. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go backwards. But I will say that sometimes you may have to go backwards in order to move forward. I will say that. And I've had to do it before. Not with marriage, but just dealing with people. You know what I mean? And I think that communication and comprehension are the main reasons why relationships don't work out. Somebody is always saying what needs to be said, and there is no understanding. Like, if you're going to have a conversation with somebody, no matter if it's heated, no matter if it's calm, you need to understand where that person is coming from, or y'all never going to get anywhere anyway. Understand this, because there's been plenty of times that I done sat up here, talked to my wife. She's still sitting there. I don't get it. Okay. At some point, you're going to have to get it, because if you don't understand it, you're going to always have a problem with that one thing that you didn't understand. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. comprehension and communication. You got to understand you're a person.
Miss Rhea said, as far as the smoking, does that go for weed and cigars too? And then she also said, I would dislike that so much. My trigger is my man telling me to relax. She also said, I don't know why that irks me so much, but I can't stand for a person to tell me to relax when I'm expressing my opinion on a question they asked me. Anthony said, that's right. Tia said, sometimes you got to remind, remind them. Dorian said, hey, relax. And Tia also said, we forget so easily.
Absolutely. And you know what? Listen, Rhea, I hear you. And no, it does not work the same as far as cigars and weed goes. It's specifically for cigarettes. I can't stand a cigarette smoking woman at all. Cigars, cool. Weed, cool. I might even hit the blunt a few times. You know what I'm saying? So that's different. That's different to me. But the whole relax thing, I say that it became a slogan of mine. I actually stole it from somebody else. But I started using that slogan because, one, I needed to hear it because I used to be a hothead. And that hothead in me is not all the way gone. So I have to say certain things to make me relax so that other person can eventually relax, whether it's my wife or somebody else. So you got to relax. It's really just a move that I or just something that I say to keep everything cool as I possibly can. Now, if you can't stay cool, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what other word to use for you. But yeah, that's just my thing. Tia, to what up though, cuz? So you do have to remind people. I agree with you. You do, because I think another big issue specifically in marriage, people get way too comfortable. All right. They get way too comfortable. They get used to you. They like, oh, I got you. We got this. We got that. You ain't going nowhere. Huh? No, it don't work like that. No, because whatever you was doing in the beginning, you got to keep doing it to keep us afloat. All right. You take care of me. I take care of us. That's how I go. So there's no getting lackadaisical. Now, don't get me wrong. We're human. Everybody gets tired. I'm aware of that. I get tired too. And there's some stuff that I might fall off and do. It's okay to fall back, but it's not okay to fall off. So when you realize, or somebody makes you realize that you slipping, get it together. Tighten up. You don't tighten up, here comes another uncomfortable conversation. And sometimes women, y'all need to cherish men that are honest and vocal, okay? Because when you get a dude that is not honest and vocal, here comes the cheating, okay? Here comes the other woman that you didn't see coming because you was just so comfortable. You got to stop. You got to stop getting comfortable. I understand you got everything you want, you need, and that's all fine and dandy, but you can't just start slipping. Life keeps going. When you die, I want y'all to understand something. People are going to mourn you, and then they're going to go to work. All right? Mm-hmm. Life goes on. Life don't stop because your life stopped. So there's no excuses. If you ain't dead, your heart's still beating, you ain't an invalid, keep it moving. That's it. That's it.
Okay, so Tia said listening to respond and not to understand. Most people only listen to respond. Dorian said everyone be a loaf sometimes on purpose. Head as a reef for shit's sakes.
Yeah.
And Ms. Rhea said, me either. Yeah, them cigarettes is a no-go.
Yeah, definitely. And back to Tia. Listen, you right. Like people they love to listen just to respond. You have no idea how many times I've given out great advice on TikTok, right? To just give y'all an example. So many women that jump in my comments trying to be combative, trying to make points that I've already made, all because they heard one thing that they didn't like that I said. And I have to redirect them. Like, I don't really like arguing with nobody, but I will redirect them. Hey, listen, I said this already. You just heard something else that you didn't like, or you didn't like my delivery somewhere, and you got lost with that instead of listening to everything I had to say in its totality. So yeah, People do be listening just to respond. And that's another reason why things be going wrong. You cannot always be right in marriage. There's no such thing as you always being right. Both of y'all be wrong. It take two people to mess up a marriage, just like it take two people to make it work. Y'all both be wrong. And y'all know why y'all both be wrong? Because nobody's perfect. So y'all got to stop that. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. Listen, I used to call myself a perfectionist. And then I realized, why do I do that if I know it ain't going to be perfect? So I had to grow up and get out of that mindset of being a perfectionist. Yes, everybody likes certain things done a certain way. But even if you do it sometimes, it still might not be to your liking. So you got to deal with the stuff that you are going to be able to deal with and say, you know what? I don't like this, but I can deal with it. That's what marriage really is about. You're not going to like everything about your spouse. I ain't met not one couple that liked everything about their spouse. They can love them to death, like them to death, because that's important too. But there's still something that they don't like. Sometimes, prime example, take me. My wife is something that she loves about me that she also hates about me. Two things, my big heart and my social skills. And I get it because sometimes my big heart can blind me. It could blind me to what I'm dealing with as far as who I'm lending my big heart out to. So I understand why she hates that about me. She also hates how social I can be. I understand why that could be a problem too. Because sometimes people don't know sometimes people blur the lines when I'm being social. You know what I'm saying? Some people can blur the lines and make it seem like it's more than what it is and it's really not. And I can get caught up in that too. So I get it. But at the same time, she loved those things about me because that's what makes me me. So you got to be able to, it's all about give and take. You got to be able to give and take when it comes down to a marriage. And sometimes it's certain things that's going to be on a high mark for you. And you got to be able to address that. And then while you're addressing that, also be patient enough for that to calm down because it ain't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. So y'all need to understand that. But hey, shout out to everybody that's in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Most definitely. Most definitely. And make sure y'all call in, man. You know, we could talk about it. You know, we could definitely talk about it because this was a topic that most of y'all chose, and I appreciate it. You know, and I'm glad y'all chose this topic because I was going to go with a whole nother topic, and I'm glad that everybody chose this one because this was great. Because a lot of people sleep on keeping it real or when keeping it real goes wrong. A lot of people do. And I'll give you another situation where things can go wrong in the marriage or keeping it real can go wrong. You cannot wait until you're finally fed up to say something. And this ain't got nothing to do with the approach or nothing like this. This is all about timing. If you knew from day one that this was going to be an issue for you, you need to speak on it early. Not wait for it to be a build up. Okay, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of that. It's been happening this whole time and you just now saying something. It's best to bring it to the forefront when you know for a fact that you have a problem with it. Stop sleeping on whatever you got an issue with. Stop wasting time. Stop thinking in your head that, I'm going to give it some time before I say something. It's going to change. No, because if you're not saying nothing, ain't nobody going to see nothing. Simple. But I appreciate everybody that's been tapping in, man, because I think more of these conversations need to happen. And a lot of people are scared to have these conversations. Not me. Most of y'all already know me personally. I ain't scared to talk about nothing. And I ain't scared to address nothing. I ain't scared of nothing. Okay? I fear nothing. God could tell me right now, hey, Todd, this is about to be your last day on earth. Guess what? I'm going to be okay. You know why? Because I done already made a difference in somebody else's life. Okay? I done already left my footprint somewhere where it matters. So I'm not scared of nothing. So I'm always open to have a great conversation with anybody, even if you don't agree with me. Just keep it respectful, and we ain't gonna have no problems. Don't wake up a sleeping dragon, please. Okay, I like sleeping. I like relaxing. I don't like barbecuing people all the time. That gets draining. Okay, I'm very surgical with my words. I almost started to call myself Dr. Todd, but I changed my mind. So because I don't like being combative. I love it. Listen, being 40, I love peace. Love peace. I love not hearing from people I don't want to hear from. Great. I don't even care if you die. That's just how real I am about it. I'm not even trying to be mean. I just have a low tolerance for nonsense now that I'm older. So if I could be at peace, even if that means you out of my life, cool. I'm all for it. Because listen, let me tell y'all something about stress. It's not a good look. Don't make you look good and it won't make you feel good. Take it from somebody that had to go to the hospital due to heart problems before. Okay? Remember the ex I was just talking about in the beginning? Same ex. That was the reason why. And it wasn't because of her per se. It was because of what she was doing while I was in the process of trying to be a father. That's what got to me. That's what bothered me the most. That's when I said, okay, I got to make a change, because guess what? No matter what I'm going through, whether the kids are aware of it or not, I got to be here still. And if one parent ain't right, somebody got to be here to be right. And I'm the parent that's right. Not throwing no shade. I'm just telling y'all like how things played out. I'm the right one because I actually care about the kids more than I care about my feelings. So, but that I had to really, this goes back to that big heart conversation. Me having a big heart for holding on to everything I was holding on to when I was going through everything with my kids. It took a toll on me. Almost, and it almost took a toll on my marriage too, because it was times where I was depressed, I was angry, and sometimes it was like, it felt like it was for no apparent reason. And my wife would point it right out to me. I know what your problem is. You miss your babies. And she was right. I wasn't looking at it like that. I thought I had got to a point where I thought I made peace. There's a big difference between what you thought and what it is. Okay? Trust me. Because when I actually went through the process of trying to let go, trying to, ease my own pain, it was different. When I actually started going through the process and I reached that process, when I found something else to pour into, in love and watch it grow, that's when I was starting to get that peace about that situation. The reason, part of it came from me podcasting. When I started talking about it, I started leading my way down the road to peace. So I love peace. I love it. And if I can avoid any conflict, I would do it. I would definitely do it. Because Reese said, talks with Todd, when is your birthday? Because you talk like a Leo. Funny you say that. I'm actually a Gemini. June 8th is my birthday. My wife, however, is a Leo. So a lot of that stuff that you hearing or my demeanor, it come from me being around her crazy self for so long. And I guarantee you, if you met my wife and been around her, you're going to see a lot of me and her too. We took on each other's characteristics, that's for sure. And I love that. I love that I did, because a lot of my wife being a Leo has actually brought the best out of me personally. I had to get to a point where I turned my nose up at certain things. I had to get to a point where I wasn't responding to everything. And that's where that good old Leo pride started to make sense to me. So yeah, I'm a Gemini to the core, but yeah, what you hearing? Yeah, that's definitely that's Leo gang all day. Shout out to my wife, but yeah, I'm just really big on having that peace though, man. I love having peace, but one thing people fail to realize: without war, there is no peace. You gotta be battle war tested to have peace. People don't know. A lot of people don't know what I've been through. It's still stuff going on to this day that I cannot talk about right now. But I guarantee you one day I will, because I got to get it off one way or another. And just so I can help another person. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's necessary. See, one thing that people don't understand about my pod, when it started off, it started off as an anger release. I needed to release. I needed to let go of the anger that I had for my kid's mother. I needed to do this. But when it stopped being about me, it was different. When I started helping individuals go through whatever they was going through with their kid's mother, or going through what they was going through because they had a divorce, it was a done deal. This is when Talks with Todd became bigger than me. So, like I said, it started off as an anger outlet. It turned into something totally different. So eventually you guys are going to hear these other stories because, again, I'm still going through it. And eventually I'm going to help somebody else do something else. What's up, Carly? You on the air?
What up? Top of the top, it's Rhea.
What's up, Rhea? How you feeling?
I'm okay. You know, I never get to listen because I'm usually at work at this time. But I'm on vacation this week and next week.
Shout out to that vacation. I know it's needed.
Absolutely.
I know it's needed.
Man, you have no idea. I'm like reevaluating my whole life right now. But with the conversation, I'm not I'm in the comments. I don't like to be all on the show, on the phone, because if that's the case, I can be on the show.
Oh, yeah. And you definitely can be on the show. Just let me know.
Yeah, we're going to work it out. I know our schedules conflict, but we definitely are going to chop it up. Just want to say, keep it up. I love when you do the clips. I need you to chop up some of my episodes, too.
I got you. I got you.
But, yes, I will continue to support. That clip is going crazy. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're going to keep on watching. I've shared it. And anybody listening, share. Just hit the share button. Don't just listen yourself. Share so more people can hear what needs to be heard. Because when you talk, everybody can't talk by themselves.
No, that's an acquired skill.
I need people to understand that. Yeah, I need people to understand that. It's almost like you're talking to yourself, but you got to make it look effortless.
Right.
And you do great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I got you. I give you your flowers while you're here. I got you.
Thank
hey,
you.
Shanny.
Thank you.
Hey, Rhea.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Keep it up.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No problem, babe. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, who you just heard, that is Rhea. She has a show called Raw But Real. Her show comes on every Monday at 6, correct? Yes. Every Monday at 6. So make sure y'all tap in. Under the same umbrella, Podcastic. So make sure y'all tap into her show. Very good. Mostly hilarious. They could get on a serious topic and it'll turn into something so funny and it wasn't even happening on purpose. Love that show. But yeah, and that's how the back to what Rhea said. This show actually started off with me talking by myself. And I wasn't at a Podcastic location yet either. I was doing this at a secluded location, and it's just me and my phone. I'm talking to my people, telling them stories, load on YouTube, over with. That's it. That's how it all started. So that's why, it comes off so effortless for me to do it. Or effortlessly for me to talk to the people by myself. I started getting into the whole having guests thing once I realized I was actually decent at interviewing people. So shout out to my cousin Tia for that, because if it wasn't for me seeing her on live and having her, call me down to an event, I would have never realized I had that gift. So yeah, that's what got me into interviewing, honestly. And
Tia said, you want to be right or you want to be happy? She said, choose happiness.
Yep.
Miss Johnson said, in any relationship, no one is perfect. Tia said, love wins, but only if you let it.
Yep.
And Miss Rhea said, okay, Tip, you see Tiny stayed. The serenity prayer and accountability. Okay. Miss Rhea also said, social skills are a big one. I'm usually more social than the men I attract, but it is usually the thing that breaks us up too. Miss Johnson said, great conversation.
Thank you.
Rosin said, peace is key.
Yes, it is indeed.
And Miss Rhea said, that's that boldness. And I think that's when she was talking about the Gemini-Leo dynamic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And to be quite honest with you, I was really bold prior to my wife, but she helped it be a little more, I guess you could say, more sophisticated, if you will. Because I used to just say whatever that came to mind and it didn't care about how it came out. Then she showed me that there's an art form to cutting into people without making them bleed out right away. Just a slow one, just a slow leak, and I love that, actually, because it shows maturity, and also it lets people see that you're more worthy of respect than what they might view you. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Rhea said, yep, me too. Wow, God is truly amazing. Yes, he is. And listen, I'm glad you said that, Rhea. Thank you for saying that, because that's something else I wanted to talk about. There's no point of you getting married if you're not letting God in. There's no point of you getting married if you don't have a relationship with God on your own. It can't just be one of y'all. It got to be both of y'all, because marriage is about teamwork. Okay, so if neither one of y'all got God in y'all lives, find them. Find some type of higher power, because if y'all don't believe in nothing, y'all ain't gonna have nothing. Point blank, period. Like, I understand that some people might, look at things a little different and have their own little interpretations of things, but you still gotta believe in something. That's the only way you're gonna make something happen. This right here, this ain't me. This was God. I had to go through a bunch of stuff in order to make this happen. So for the people that love Talks with Todd from the beginning to right now, this ain't me. This is God driving all of this, because he's put me through everything that I done went through in order to share these stories, in order to help y'all, motivate y'all, whatever the case may be. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid enough to believe for 1 second that this is all me. Oh no. This is not all me. I'm no fool. So this actually, you got to let God in at some point. You got to, because he's the one that's going to make sure that things happen and go in the direction they need to go into. So if you don't have a relationship with him, find it. If you are a couple and one of y'all got a relationship, the other one doesn't, get them on board with you. And no matter who it is, I don't care if the man or the woman, it don't matter. Somebody need to listen to somebody in order for y'all to keep growing. Because I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than being in a marriage and y'all start growing apart and you don't know where to go. Okay? And this goes back to the topic. Man, when keeping it real can go wrong, it can also go right. I had a conversation with my wife not too long ago about the direction we was going in and how I wasn't looking at things the way she was looking at them, or vice versa. And guess what? It took something very dramatic to happen for her to see where I was coming from. She had to put things in perspective because of something dramatic happening. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, because at the end of the day, she eventually saw where I was coming from and saw that, you know what? My husband was right. He was right. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I need to find my way to relieve some stress. These are things that matter. So when I kept it real with my wife on this day, to be completely honest with you guys, I told her straight up, I said, if we're going to keep going down the path that we're going down, we might as well get a divorce, because this is what's happening right now is not really helping anything. I don't want to be that couple that just sits here and just only have negative things to talk about because that's what's going on in our world. Okay, like we need to be able to turn this around. We need to be able to move in we need to be able to maneuver through the chaos, because that's all I did. I have a saying that I use: content over complaints. Instead of sitting up here complaining about anything that I'm going through, I'd rather turn it into content. Make it valuable. Make it reusable. You know what I'm saying? Make it so somebody could take something from it and utilize it in their marriage. Listen, again, I'm on my third one. Keep in mind, there's a married couple right now that listened to me. Listen to something that I said and applied it to their marriage. Most people be like, oh, you've been married 3 times. You ain't nobody listen to. Most of the time, that's somebody that ain't even been married. But hearing somebody say, hey, me and my husband applied this to our marriage, and they're listening to somebody that's on their third marriage, that means they understand to some capacity, oh, this dude been through enough to know what he's talking about. He's learned from his mistakes. And which I did. Every mistake that I made in my last 2 marriages, I at least attempted not to make those same mistakes in this marriage. So, and if I saw me repeating something, if I didn't check it, my wife would check it, and then I really check it, and it's gone. That's it. But you gotta be willing to have these conversations. You gotta be willing to have these uncomfortable conversations. You're not gonna grow. And I'm telling you, when you growing apart, it feels horrible. Because I've been through it. Not being on the same page, being vocal about not being on the same page and still not seeing nothing change. Oh, it's a horrible feeling, because you're like, this how we about to end? Like this is about to be it? Just us growing apart, like, and nobody changing nothing, nobody trying to fix. Listen, it's necessary. And I'm telling you, counseling helps too. And sometimes, you might not even have to keep it real with nobody, to be honest with you. Sometimes you could be honest with that therapist that y'all go see. And that third party, I know some people feel like I don't need nobody telling me what's wrong if I already know what's wrong. That third party, excuse me, that third party telling you what's going wrong in their way could do a lot. You just got to be willing to listen and make those changes. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, be weary of anybody. If you're having problems with your marriage and you're having problems communicating with whoever, or somebody's not comprehending what you're saying, that third party can help with all of that. But y'all got to do the rest of the work. Don't just solely depend on no therapist. Okay, they're like there just to communicate with the both of y'all about how y'all not understanding each other. All you got to do is listen. When you listen, it's going to go a long way. But sometimes that third party is needed. And also, let me be real with you. That third party don't always have to be no therapist. You ain't always got to go to a professional. Sometimes you can just go to somebody that's been through something, and they can remind you of, hey, look here, me and my wife went through this. Y'all can make it if we made it through what we went through. You got to start asking yourself, are y'all strong enough to do this? Or do y'all love each other enough to do this? And more importantly, do y'all like each other enough to do it? People sleep on that like. That liking somebody is very essential. Because I remember another thing, keeping it real goes wrong, last marriage. I told my ex, I love you, but I don't like you, like at all. And they said, well, what you doing with me? I don't know. I mean, I love, our kid and all of that, because at the time we just had my son. But I remember telling her to her face, looking her dead in the eye, I don't like you. You have a lot of bad habits that I didn't see before, or maybe I was blinded by them. I don't know, but I don't like you. So liking the person that you with is very important. And I remember getting a lot of backlash for that statement. Keeping it real does go wrong when you say things that come out so effortlessly. I said it on some real cool, like on an everyday tip. I'm relaxing when I said it. Like, I don't really like you. You talk too much, or you a little too loud. I realized in that marriage, I don't like ghetto women. I realized that. I can't stand me a Master Splinter. And I used to think they was like, at first, I don't know, maybe it was because I was blinded by the fun that Master Splinters can be. How much fun they could be is probably what made me dismiss everything else that I didn't like about a Master Splinter. But yeah, I don't care for that. And since I've been with the wife that I'm with right now, I don't even attract them no more. Thank God. I attract a higher caliber of women. Again, I keep it real. Hey, I'm married. Thank you. Flattered. Bye. You know what I'm saying? But it's different. It's different when you got somebody of higher quality around you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a different glow. And it don't get me wrong, it feels good, because I remember what I used to attract. And now I'm attracted to something totally different. I don't fall for the bait, but it just feels good to know that, oh, you stepped your game up. And look, to the fellas that have a hard time keeping their peace in their pants, I want to let y'all know something. When you realize that you're attracting a higher caliber of women, keep in mind, before you put your piece in them, get to messing around with them, understand that they would not like you if it was not for the woman that you got in your life right now. So you have to keep that in mind, or at least keep that, make that keep you in check at least, because a good woman is definitely gonna show on the man. Okay, that saying is true. Behind every good man is a great woman. That is true. So women sniff that out. They can tell when you're happy. They're more drawn to you then. But you gotta remember, before you decide you about to step out for whatever reason, the only reason why that fly woman is digging you is because of who you're with. Just remember that. Don't never say you ain't learned nothing from me. I know. Okay? Trust me. It means something. It means a lot.
Q said, dog been a natural ever since Candace interviewed him on her podcast a couple years ago. I peeped he had it then.
Thank you, my dog.
Rhea says she helped you be more refined.
Yes.
And Rhea also said faith is real, and when a person don't have that faith in God, you can be associates, but you cannot survive a marriage unless you both surrender.
Yes.
And Britt said, "Hola, y'all."
What's up, though?
Hey,
What's
Britt.
up, B? Yo, yeah. Shout out to B. Hey, listen, I'm glad she in the comments.
Speaking of season 4,
Right. Speaking of season 4, for those of you that don't know, I'm gonna tell you how season 4 came about, just in case y'all missed the episode I did with Brittany. Okay, Brittany is the reason why I chose the marriage route for this season. All right, I remember calling her one day because I trust her. You know, I trust her, and she's also a Leo, so she reminds me a lot of my wife. So she's gonna keep it a buck. So I called her and I said, "Listen, I'm thinking about what I want to do for season 4. What is it that you want to hear?" And Brittany said, "I'm really tired of the relationship conversations, but I'm really tired of relationship conversations that don't have a solution. I need to hear more solutions to these problems that people are having in their relationships." Bingo. That light bulb came on and I ran with it. Thank you again, Brittany Chanel. You are the truth. And if I win an award, you best believe I'm calling you up. Okay? For sure. So yeah, like that's how season 4 got started. So I'm really proud of the direction that I chose to go into. And again, shout out to Brittany, because if it wasn't for that, I would not have ran with this like I did. That's why you got to keep good people around you. Good people around you is going to help you make great choices. And I'm very proud of it. This is arguably one of the best seasons I've had since I've gotten started. So I appreciate that. But yeah, man, like, and back to what Rhea said, faith. Thank you for saying that as well. A lot of people sleep on faith. There's no sense of praying to God, bothering him with all the other problems he got to solve, if you're not going to have faith in it working. You could pray as much as you want. If you don't believe it's going to work, it ain't going to work. Because you already putting that in the universe. Stupid. No, you got to have faith. Start when you pray, and even if you need to do this while in the middle of prayer, start asking for faith, more faith, and believing in and trusting the process of whatever it is that you're going through. Because a lot of people go through stuff and it be, woe is me, go to God, and it still be an issue. No, you got to learn how to go to God, let it go, do the work. That's what you got to do. You have to. You have to, because if you don't, all else is going to fail. So listen, we got a few more minutes left. Anybody else want to call in? Please do. The number is up. I have not yet memorized this number yet, but the last one just got stuck in my head for some reason. I guess the area code be throwing me off. But call in, you know what I'm saying? Even if you want to keep it light, that's cool too. But yeah, 810-560-0658. That is the number. Make sure y'all call in. We got a few more minutes left. But yeah, you definitely got to have faith. There's no sense in doing anything if you're not going to have faith. And even if you have faith and it fails, have enough faith that the next thing that you jump into, whether it's a relationship, a job, whatever it is going to work. You got to have some confidence. You're not going to have any faith if you don't have confidence. So let's start there. If you got confidence, then you could definitely have faith. You got to. If you can believe in yourself, you can believe in God, you can believe in whatever else, you can believe in trusting the process. No excuses. Telly, you got any questions? I know you want to be married.
Yes, that is definitely what I aspire. When keeping it real goes wrong in a marriage.
Or have you ever kept it real with somebody and it went wrong?
Yes, but I think it was my approach. I think it was like kind of how you were saying earlier. When something bothers me, I tend to, try to sweep it up under the rug or keep going with it, and then I get angry or it just festers because I haven't talked about it.
Right.
And then when I do be real, quote unquote, it comes off as maybe harsh, or I'm talking at them, or talking down to them as opposed to just talking to them. So I've heard that in the sense of when keeping it real. So I'm working on now just being more vocal about things that I may not like earlier on.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
What's up, caller? You on the air?
Hey, Todd, it's me, Real.
What's up?
I just want to segue into what our conversation is going to be about, because you just gave me our show.
Okay, bet.
You gave me our show.
All right.
It's about what do you attract. When you said that about attracting, women got to stop complaining about what they're getting and start figuring out what are they putting out.
There you go. Bingo.
That is our conversation.
Yeah.
We gonna light that thing up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it, Ms.
Yes, definitely.
That's gonna be a good show. That's
and I literally just said something similar. So yeah. Let's talk about it.
We got this.
Yes.
So now, look, we'll see what next week's schedule looks like for you.
Bet.
Because I'm off next week.
Okay, bet. I'm with it. Most
All
definitely.
right.
Thank you for calling in.
Bye.
For
Thank
sure.
you, Ms. Rhea.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, Nah, Q.
Hey, Q.
Q, you better go remote. That's what I'm about to do. I'm going remote, man. I have to. So yeah, that we got to keep this thing rolling, bro. But yeah, man. Thank you for everybody that's been tapping in, though. Like seriously, whether you're a day one fan or you just now becoming a fan. Well, I hate that word, supporter. If you just now becoming a supporter, hey, I appreciate it, man, and I'm glad that everybody been liking what I've been putting out there. I'm not nobody that's full of a bunch of fluff and shenanigans. We getting straight to the point, and I'm gonna keep it clear and be very transparent. Like I don't see it no other way. This is how I feel like podcasting need to go. Like podcasting in real life, this is how it needs to go. It needs to be honest conversations. It's not enough honest conversations happening. Not enough transparency. Have those conversations, and I guarantee you're going to see a world of difference in your life. It could be something as simple as starting off with saying no to somebody. If you ain't never said no to them before, wait and see what happens when you say no. You probably, the response that you get from it, you're not going to like. However, you're going to see a difference in how you move. That's how I got started with it. Everybody just think I was just so honest off the rip. No. This took time. Okay. Cause I was a huge liar. Not one of those pathological liars, but just a liar in the sense of, I just want to get out of doing this. Let me lie. No. When I started saying no, I started seeing a world of difference. So stop trying to be a people pleaser or a husband pleaser or a wife pleaser. Like, yeah, it's your job to please them to some degree, but you ain't got to please them in every avenue. It's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to always work out like that. But I definitely appreciate everybody that been tapping in. I appreciate the love and support. And as we come to a close, trust me, it's going to be a great season 5. Now, let me explain something to y'all too. The only reason why I do my shows in seasons is because I change. I can't. Shout out to everybody that could do their show all year round. I can't do it because I go through stuff, and sometimes I need to take a step back from this and experience real life. And not to say this is not real life, because this honestly became a part of my real life, but I mean like stuff with family or whatever else I'm dealing with. I got to handle that, and I got to be focused on that. My 100% focus can't just be on podcasting. And my 100% focus not going to always just be on my family, but I take time off so I can give what I haven't been able to give. That's it. We out of here, y'all. Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talks with Todd.